What's going on, everyone? Tony Ivanov here, lead trader and mentor at TradeBuddy, and today we have some awesome lessons for you guys. The two main stocks I want to talk about today are RSLS and ANY, and these are two completely different stocks. RSLS had major dilution and a massive at-the-market offering, and it just plummeted. Once you guys look at the charts, I'll show you. And pre-market, it went from $1.50 up to $3, and then at market open it dropped immediately down under $2 and then closed just around $1 per share. So massive drop. And then we have ANY, which had a massive morning spike, opened up at around $5, spiked up to $8.50, and then settled back down to around $6. So I have some awesome lessons for you guys on exactly how to identify when a stock has massive dilution going on, and also how to identify the best plays on the long side when you trade stocks like ANY. So make sure you stick around for the entire video. It may be a bit longer, but there's going to be a lot of free information in this video. So if you are a new or experienced trader, I'm sure that you'll find something in here that you can benefit from. And yeah, with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you have any questions, leave a like down below, or leave a comment down below. Leave a like if you saw value in this content, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to be notified for my future videos. Alrighty, so here we are now on my trading screen, and you can see we're first going to talk about RSLS because this was the first one that was really on our watch list. This morning I was doing a webinar in the TradeBuddy community, and this is the one that really had the massive strength. Now, I didn't trade this pre-market whatsoever. I really did not get that much sleep last night, and that's going to play into what I'm about to talk about. So when I woke up, I was laying in bed and I was watching RSLS, and it was right here where I saw it, and it looked like it had some massive resistance in the 240s area, just under 250. And it kind of looked like it was forming this. Let me just expand this, make it easier to see. We don't need to see all that. Let's do like that. It looked like it was making kind of a head and shoulders pattern. So let me just get this drawing here. So you can see we have this kind of head and shoulders forming. And I saw that. I was like, okay, it's likely going to break back down. So then I actually fell back asleep for like another 10 minutes. I woke back up again, and then I saw it explode up to the $3 mark, and then it was finally fading off. So missed that huge move in pre-market, but that's just fine. I usually don't trade pre-market anyways, so even if like I was watching this live, I probably would not have taken action on it. But once we hit this resistance at $3, my main plan was knowing that, one, it did have news. Let me bring the news up real quick. Now, one of the sketchy things about RSLS is that this news did not show up on eTrade Pro, and it did not show up on Equity Feed. It was actually just on Yahoo Finance. One of the members in our chat room posted it, and it said Reshape Life Sciences presents new data on new technology that applies to type 2 diabetes. And that's, very good news. I read into it. It seemed very good. And, all said and done, I was like, okay, it's a low float, low priced, has good news, and that's it. Now, one mistake that I did is that I did not follow my my pre-trading checklist. Now, this is something that I recommend every trader should have, and it could be different depending on what type of trading you do. But like me personally, let me just grab it real quick. I have this giant whiteboard here that basically has a pre-trading checklist, and I keep this next to me when I trade. And actually today I did not have it next to me, so I really didn't care too much to use the checklist. And one of the main things on that checklist is to always check the SEC filings, and one good way to do that is BAM SEC. So let me get into this in just 1 second. But essentially my morning plan was, okay, I identify a level of support at 211. You see this whole area here, 211, I identified as the overall support. And the way I got that is by using the line chart. And I basically saw that here it was acting as resistance, and then boom, here acted as support. So that's the level that I wanted to risk off of. I didn't know it was going to hold for sure, but what I did know is that lots of people would like see that level as a level of support, and people will buy there, and that was my plan. So right when market opened, I had an order sitting at around 211 for a few thousand shares. I think 2,000 shares total. And then it just dropped like a rock, and I really didn't expect it to have this much selling volume, but I didn't let that, you know, like phase me out. I got filled, and then right when I was filled, I put in a stop loss order at 203, and I got filled on that sell immediately. So instantly took a loss of around, I think it was $220. But you can see I'm glad I cut that loss because it dropped like a rock overall. So why did this break down so hard? Well, looking back into the filings, if we look at RSLS, it had an at the market offering. So this is a very awesome website. It's completely free. I am not affiliated with them by any means. You don't have to buy their paid software. You can just use it for free. But if you want to look to see if a company has like active offerings on the table, you look at this prospectus and registrations area, and you can see there was one filed on October 3rd, so very recently. And if we just open this up, you can see that they have a lot of common stock available to sell. And in the first paragraph, it says, these sales, if any, will be made under an at-the-market sales agreement, which means that whenever they want, they can just unload millions of shares onto the market with no warning up ahead. So this was a pump done by the company, and what they did was they released that, you know, nice press release. It shot up like crazy in pre-market, inflated their price, and then they just dumped all the shares down, and that caused just massive amounts of selling. And you know, there's no buyers around to really support it with millions of new shares on the table. It just dropped the price. And once I realized that, I told people in the chat room, say, hey, this has active dilution, don't touch it, it's not worth it. Now, I did take a loss on this, and it's unfortunate that the reason why I took the loss is because I didn't check my pre-trading checklist. All I had to do was look at the BAM SEC, look at that one registration offering, and know, okay, this has an at-the-market offering. It's a total avoid. And one thing that plays into it is the fact that I did not get enough sleep. And this is something that is so important and really not that many people talk about in the trading community. It's so important to be in the right state of mind. I mean, you have to be extremely well rested when you're ready to trade. You have to be, you know, no drugs at all. You have to be ready to go to war, essentially. When you're trading stocks, you have to really understand that you are going up against millions of people who are doing the same exact thing as you, even better than you. So you have to be extremely refined, and you have to be in amazing shape mentally and physically if you want to really do it right. And because I wasn't in the right like state of mind mentally, because I wasn't rested up, I didn't follow my pre-trading checklist. So with that, RSLS was just, you know, demolished. And then even in the afternoon, it got halted for news pending, and they did another offering, like 2 offerings in one day. So they just really did not care about their investors whatsoever, and they just really demolished their stock. So I definitely would not want to touch RSLS anymore, because now the float is around 10 million shares, when just this morning the float was only 920,000. So there is a massive amount of new supply, and whenever there is a lot of new supply, naturally the price drops. So there's RSLS. Now I want to talk about ANY because this one was the complete opposite. It had no news, but it did a lot better. So ANY, let me just expand this chart. Let me make sure that's good. Alrighty, so ANY, this one has been a pretty active one recently. Like I said, this one has no news. Let me just make sure. Yeah, no news. And this one just had a massive morning spike. One good pattern you could have done on this one, it would have been kind of hard to catch unless you were watching ANY, is simply the break over the morning open. So you can see this one had a big morning dip, and then it reclaimed VWAP, and then it confirmed the bounce off of VWAP, spiked up, got halted. And that's immediately when you know, okay, this is definitely one to watch. Lots of people are trading it. It's very volatile. It's a low float and it's already halted, so it's popping up on everyone's scanners. Now, in this main rally, there was no real way to play it. There was no clean pattern. There was no clean breakout. And I even told members in my chat room that, let me see where it is. Right here. Love to see it squeeze, I just can't play it. And then when I was doing my live stream webinar, the commentary, the main thing I was saying was, you know, it's nice that it's spiking, but I can't really identify a place to get in that's worth the risk. And because of that, I missed it completely. I missed this entire run, and then it topped out right here at the 766 line, which if we go to our daily chart, that 766 line is from this area back here. And one line I do want to point out that's very important is the 708 line. So if you look back at this history, you can see that during this low bottom here, the overall support was that 708 line. And then just recently too, when it spiked up in the past few days, it topped out just around that 708 line on the 21st. So keep in mind that 708 line is very important, and it's why it's very important to always look back at chart history and draw out your levels of support and resistance. So going into this became one of my like bread and butter patterns, but once again, because I wasn't in the right state of mind, because I was upset about the loss I took on RSLS, I kind of stopped watching the market. I was, you know, just doing other things. I was doing some business stuff, playing with my dog, just random, you know, crap. Not paying attention to what I should be paying attention to is my bread and butter pattern, ANY, this awesome clean triple top breakout over this 766 level. And what we can see is that it had a very nice bottom form just at that previous resistance. So keep in mind, previous resistance, when that becomes new support, that's a very strong case for a bull run. And you can see that if you bought like the last dip here on that previous resistance, you could have made over $1 per share on this breakout. Now, if you played the breakout just by itself, you could have still made a very nice, you know, $0.50, 60 cents per share very easily. So moral of the story is that, you know, I've really been trying to move my trading day later into the day around 10:30, 11, and noon, just because I've been seeing lots of these long biased plays. They show up, these obvious breakouts, they never show up in the morning just because this stock needs time to develop its chart. What I've seen time and time again is that usually, not always, but usually these plays right at market open, they have been very, very short biased. And me being a long biased trader, I just have no edge in that market. So I've really been trying to ignore the morning and trade later on in the day. But today, didn't follow my rules. I didn't follow my plan, and I got burned for it. So, you know, main lesson that I want to take away on myself is that I really need to just be more disciplined. I really need to use my pre-trading checklist, and I really need to, you know, be patient and watch obvious plays like A and Y where you can make an easy $1+ per share. So that's all I really want to talk about today, guys. If you enjoyed this content, please, you should consider joining the TradeBuddy community. I'm in there every single morning. I give out a live pre-market webinar, and then at the market open, we leave the webinar open, and you can use my charts, you can use my scanner, and you can hear my commentary on what stocks are moving. So it's a very awesome value. We are actually having a Black Friday sale right now. It's 20% off of the current payment and future payments too. And we're also doing 20% off of our flagship Penny Stock Mastery course, which includes lifetime access into the chat room. So very awesome value. All the information is down below. You can also send me an email, tony@tonyivanov.com, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. All right, guys, thank you all so much. Hopefully you guys end this week on a green streak, and I'll see you all in the next video.